Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. Tonight, we are continuing reading Animorphs number 5, The Predator by K.A. Applegate. Yeah, so then I do the gorilla thing, right? I save the old man. I'm the hero. I am Spider-Man. I am Wolverine. I am Batman. Or at least Gorilla Boy. Rachel interrupted. She did a forward flip as we walked across the springy grass. Rachel's into gymnastics. It's very distracting when someone flips while they're talking to you. It was the day after my big hero act. We were all out in a far meadow of Cassie's farm. Me, Jake, Cassie, and Rachel strolling through little bunches of wildflowers. Tobias was flying overhead, about 100 feet up, and the sky dotted with bright white clouds. And what happens as I am playing Captain America? I ask. The old man unloads the gun at me. I totally lost the milk and my bag of M&Ms. Jake gave me a disgruntled look. Marco, it was good of you to rescue the old man, but you really shouldn't be turning into a gorilla. Now, as you're reading this, you're probably thinking, Marco, time out. You've left out a few things. Like, how can you turn into a gorilla? Good question. It happened on a dark night when we were all heading home from the mall. There were 5 of us. Me, you already know. Jake is my best friend. Even though, unfortunately, he is kind of a pain sometimes. He's one of those serious type guys. You say the word responsibility, and he snaps to attention. He's the kind of guy who always seems like he's bigger than he actually is. That's because he has this whole I'm in charge and you can trust me thing going on. He has sensible brown hair and trustworthy brown eyes, and one of those confident chins. He also has a great sense of humor and is very smart, and I would trust him with my life any day, any time. Not that I would ever tell him that. Then there's Cassie. I didn't really know her very well back then, but I think she's kind of Jake's girlfriend now. Of course, no one is supposed to know this. Shh! Big secret! Cassie is the one who is least like me. If I'm comedy, she's poetry. She's a natural peacemaker. She's the one who knows when you're feeling bad and will find something nice to say that makes you feel better. And it's not like she's manipulating. She really cares about things. She's like sincere or something. Cassie is our animal expert. Her parents are both vets, and she spends most of her free time helping her dad run the wildlife rehabilitation clinic. It's in the barn at their farm. They save injured woodchucks and deer and eagles and so on. Cassie actually knows how to get an injured, hangry wolf to take its pills. Not an easy thing. Believe me, I was a wolf once. You go out to her barn and you'll see this little, short, black girl in overalls and boots with her arm halfway down the throat of a wolf that could just bite it right off. And she'll be smiling and acting like it's no big deal. And the wolf will be just standing there looking like he's trying to earn a gold star for being the best little boy in school. Then there's Rachel. Very beautiful. Very leggy, blonde supermodel type. Miss Fashion. Miss Properly Applied Makeup. Miss Has It All. Looks and brains. Rachel is Jake's cousin, and a total babe who, unfortunately, is also totally insane. See, somehow, underneath all that perfect hair and perfect teeth, there's this lunatic Amazon warrior queen just fighting to get out. Here's what Rachel will say whenever we decide to do something so dangerous it makes you want to wet yourself. I'm in! Let's go! Let's do it! I swear that, if she could, Rachel would be wearing a suit of armor and swinging a sword. And it would be a fashionable suit of armor, and she would look great in it. Then there is Tobias. That night in the construction site, he was just this kind of dweeby kid I barely knew. He liked Jake because Jake once kept some guys from beating him up. To be honest with you, I don't even remember what Tobias looked like back then. Now, of course, he looks like a fierce, angry bird of prey. There's a downside to the morphine power we have. A time limit of 2 hours. Stay more than 2 hours in a morph, and you stay forever. That's why Tobias was flying overhead, with his wide wings catching the warm updrafts. Tobias is a hawk. Red-tailed hawk, to be exact. I guess he always will be. I tease Tobias sometimes. What happened to him scares me. And anyway, that night we were cutting through this big abandoned construction site. It was supposed to be a shopping center, but they got it half built and then stopped. Then, to make a long story short, there was a spaceship. It was carrying an Andalite who was dying of wounds he'd gotten fighting the Yeerks up in Earth orbit, or thereabouts. He's the one who told us about the Yeerks. The Yeerks are parasites. They use the bodies of other species. They take them over. They control them. That's what you call a human who's been taken over. Controller. A human controller. Jake's brother, Tom, is one. A controller. And Melissa, Rachel's friend, her father is one too. The Andalites fight the Yeerks. They have been trying to stop the secret Yeerk invasion of Earth. Basically, they got their butts kicked. Before he died, the Andalite promised us that reinforcements would come. Eventually. In the meantime, all he could do for us was give us a weapon. That weapon was the power to morph. To acquire the DNA of any animal we could touch. And then to become that animal. So that was the deal. The 5 of us, 5 regular, everyday kids, were supposed to fight the Yeerks until the Andalites came along and rescued us. 5 kids versus the Yeerks. The Yeerks, who had already conquered the terrifying Hork-Bajir and made them into controllers. The Yeerks, with their creepy allies attacks on controllers. The Yeerks, who had already infiltrated human society, making controllers out of cops and teachers and soldiers and mayors and TV news peoples. They were everywhere. They could be anyone. And all we had was 5 kids who could turn into birds or gorillas. I just don't think we should be morphing out on the street in order to get involved in everyday crimes. Jake lectured me. Remember what happened at the used car lot with Rachel and Tobias? And you asked them if they were insane? I was about to argue when Rachel spoke up again. I think Marco did the right thing, she said. What was he supposed to do? Just walk away? I don't think so. Okay, now I know I was wrong, I said. Anytime Rachel thinks I did the right thing, it has to be wrong. Besides, that was my whole point. I risked my life for that old man, and I don't even get a thank you. I don't know if it was a good idea, Cassie said, but the feeling behind it was good. I think it was heroic. Well, what could I say to that? It's very hard to disagree with someone who has just called you a hero. Jake decided to let it go. Unfortunately, the reason he decided to drop it was that he had something bigger to talk about. He got his serious look. I groaned. I hate that serious look. It always means trouble. Jake, are you going to tell me why we're all out walking in the fields together? Aside from the fact that it's a nice day and all? We're going to see Axe, Jake explained. Cassie and I have been talking to him the last couple days. You know, about what he wants to do. Oh, I muttered. I just know I'm not going to like this. Well, probably not. X wants to go home, Jake said. Home? Rachel repeated. To the Andalite home world, Cassie said. X, whose real name is Exemily Iskorath Ithil, is an Andalite. I stopped walking. The others stopped too. Excuse me, but isn't the Andalite homeworld kind of far away? X says it's about 82 light years. Jake confirmed. Light travels about 186,000 miles per second, I pointed out. Times 60 seconds per minute, times 60 minutes per hour, times 24 hours per day, times 365 days per year. That's 1 light year, times 82 years. Rachel laughed. So you have been staying awake in science class, Marco. We tried to figure it out in miles, but none of our calculators go that high. Jake said, You know, Jake, I could be wrong, but I don't think any of the major airlines fly to the Andalite homeworld. I said, Uh-huh, he said with a nod. I know. That's why we'll have to steal a Yerk spaceship. There he is, Cassie said. I followed the direction of her gaze, over toward the line of trees at the edge of the field. I saw him. Axe, the Andalite. From a distance, you'd think it was a small horse or a deer. He has 4 hoofed feet that flash with amazing speed. His upper body looks like a horse's neck and head, except that when he gets close enough, you see that he has 2 smaller, human-sized arms sticking out. His head is kind of a triangle, with 2 huge, almond-shaped eyes. Those are his main eyes. There are 2 extra eyes, each stuck atop a sort of stalk. The stalks stick out of the top of his head and move, pointing the extra eyes in any direction. But the thing that really makes you stare is the tail. According to Cassie and Rachel, Axe is cute. I wouldn't know, being a guy. All I know is when you see that tail, you know right away that Andalites aren't exactly cuddly koala bears or puppies. The Andalite tail resembles a scorpion's tail. It curls up and over and is armed with a wicked scythe blade. They can strike with those tails faster than your eye can see. I'd seen the first Andalite do it, in the seconds before the evil creature known as Fisher 3 murdered the Andalite prince. He had struck with that tail again and again. The memory came back to me as I watched Axe galloping toward us, tail arched and ready. I hope there's no one around, Jake said anxiously. He scanned the area. It's pretty remote. Cassie's house and barn were way out of sight. There was no reason why anyone would be in this distant field. I looked up and saw Tobias's reddish tail feathers. I gave him a wave. All clear, Tobias called down to us in thought speak. There's some people having a picnic, but that's a couple miles from here. Axe came galloping up. Prince Jake, he said, also in thought speak. Jake groaned. Axe had gotten it into his head that Jake was our leader, which was partially true. And I guess for an Andalite, any leader is some kind of prince. Axe has no mouth. No one has asked him yet how he ate with no mouth. He communicates by thought speech. It's the same way we communicate when we're morphed. For us humans, it only works when we're morphed. For Andalites, that's the normal way to communicate. Hi, Axe, Jake said as the Andalite came to a skidding stop just a few feet from us. How are you doing? I'm well. And each of you? I'm fine, Cassie said. Tobias swooped down out of the sky. He braked and landed neatly on the grass. I'm fine too, Axe, I said. Or at least I was until I heard someone say something really stupid. Axe looked uncertain. He swiveled one of his stalk eyes forward to get a better look at me. What stupid thing was said? Someone said we were going to try and steal the Yerk spaceship, I said. He smiled an Andalite smile, which is hard to describe, except that it involves his main eyes. You think it will be dangerous? Dangerous? No! Jumping off a 10-story building is dangerous! Sticking your tongue in an electrical socket is dangerous, not to mention painful. But stealing a Yerk ship is beyond dangerous. The higher the danger, the higher the honor, Axe said. Is this not true? I gave Rachel a sidelong look. I think we found your future husband. It may be honorable to try and get a Yerk ship, Axe, Jake said. But honor isn't our most important goal. The Andalite looked surprised. I think. His main eyes widened, and his stalk eyes stretched up to the maximum height. It looked like surprise to me. What else do you fight for, if not honor? Jake shrugged. Look, we're trying to do whatever we can to hurt the Yerks, but we're also trying to stay alive. We're all there is. I mean, no one else even knows there is a Yerk invasion. So if something happens to us, he let it hang. I did not mean to offend, Heck said. You are right, of course. You are alone. If you fail, all is lost. So the question is whether this is something we can do without getting killed, Jake pointed out. Yeah, we're mostly against the idea of getting killed, I added. So how are we supposed to grab a Yerk ship? They're up in orbit. We're down here. It's not like we can call them up and ask them to come down. Yes, we can do that, Axe said. What? We can call them. Right. I can create a Yerk distress beacon. They will send a ship to investigate. You mean like, hello, hello, is this Fisher 3? Could you send a ship down to pick me up? I said. I expected everyone to laugh because the idea was so totally ridiculous. No one laughed. Excuse me? I said, trying again. Personally, I have had plenty of Fisher 3 in my life. I don't need to call him on the phone. It will not involve that foul beast, Axe said. That was one thing I liked about Axe. He hated Visher 3. He reminded me of the Andalite Prince, who was Axe's older brother. When either of them said the word Yerk, let alone Visher 3, you could just feel the air vibrating from their anger. It will be a minor matter, Axe said. They will hear distress beacon and send a bug fire to investigate. There is always at least one Hork-Bajir and one Taxon aboard each bug fighter, I pointed out. Anytime you start playing with Hork-Bajirs, it's not a minor thing. Do you fear them? Axe demanded. He stared at me with all four eyes. You better believe I fear them. Fear is unworthy of a warrior. He seemed a little too determined for me. I don't know much about Andalites, but I had a feeling I understood this one at least a little. See, he was alive, but every other Andalite who had come to Earth, including Axe's brother, the prince, was dead. So I took a shot. It wasn't fair, maybe, but it made me mad, acting like I was some kind of coward. How many times have you fought Hork-Bajir or any other controller? I asked him. His stalk eyes drooped. He pawed the ground with one hoof. Never, he said. I nodded. I thought so. So let me tell you something, Axe. It's scary. It's so scary that sometimes you wish you could just go ahead and die because it's easier than dealing with the terror. Well, I thought as I looked around at my friends, that pretty well killed everyone's happy mood. It was Tobias who broke the silence. If you get a Yerk ship, can you get back to the Andalite home world? Axe seemed abashed, but he answered, Yes, I hope so. And if you make it, can you do anything to hurry your people up, to get them back here quicker? I am young, like you, but I am the brother of Prince Elfangor. My people will listen to me. I know that they will come either way. But yes, perhaps if I can return and tell them how desperate your situation is. Jake took a deep breath. Okay, time for a vote. I groaned. I already knew what it would be. Okay, let me drink a little water. That was a long chapter in Animorphs terms. And I kept, I don't know, today I'm like extra thirsty, so with a long chapter, yeah, that was really comfortable. My favorite part doing at least the reading was having Marco's outburst to Axe. That was really fun to do for some reason. Yeah, we got every chapter, at least one of the beginning chapters of every book, as you've noticed, is a little recap so you can just quickly get back into the series, or you can just pick up a random book and know the basic plot of what's going on. And I like that he brought up about Tobias. About how Tobias scares him. Not just because of the words, but it gave me a chance to sort of to have a nice natural segue of going from, the happiness of the beginning of the chapter, the jokey nature, and then getting into a more serious tone, talking about Elfangor's death. And I like in the chapter when Marco says, "Oh yeah, Visher 3 murdered Elfangor," I'm just like, you mean ate him alive, with the pieces of him that fell down to the ground being eaten by taxons? Like, that's like, it's not like simple murder. Is like, maybe you shoot someone or you knife someone. It doesn't really bring straight to mind the fact that you eat someone when you murder them. When you kill them, it's like, simple murder doesn't really get the what the fuck just happened in the first few chapters of the first book. I mean, holy shit. Oh, damn. So if you have anything to say about this chapter, just comment below. Just remember, no major spoilers. I'm hoping that people will discover the series through my videos, and in that case, I don't want some of the major twists and turns of the series to be revealed, because you need to experience them on your own for better and worse. But if you do want to talk spoilers with me and you're on the YouTubes, there's a link to my Tumblr Ask box in the description. And if you go there, you can talk about your favorite fan theories with me, or you can, goddamn, or you can ask me questions about my feelings on the series. You know, bunch of different shit there. And let's see. And if you want to buy the book yourself, if you're watching on the YouTubes, link in the description. If you are on my blog, link under the video. And both links will take you to where you can buy your very own lovely copy of Animorphs number 5, The Predator by words. Animorphs number 5, The Predator by K.A. Applegate. And if for some reason you really like this dramatic reading, and you would like me to do a dramatic reading of your own fanfic or book, simply you can find out about how to commit. Fudge, my words are just not coming out tonight. You want to commission me, if you go to the description of the YouTubes, there's a link to post, and if you are on my blog, the link is up above, and both links will take you to where you can see a post telling you what I do, what I don't do, and my prices. If you're watching this on the YouTubes, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you're watching this on my blog and watching on the desktop version of my blog, go to the sidebar thingamajig and choose the follow by email option. And now a real life segment. Tomorrow I'm going to be having blood work done. And I believe it is a fasting kind of blood work. So no food past midnight. And the problem is I've been really hungry today for some reason. I swear, it was like a few minutes before we got to finalizing when I was going to have my blood work done. And then my body's like, I'm going to be extra hungry today, so you will just, so once it comes midnight, suddenly get a craving for midnight snacks. And, you know, that'll be fun. So if I seemed a little out of it while doing the dramatic reading today, that's why, because doing this chapter is really when the hunger started to kick in. I'm just, yeah, I can't wait to go to sleep, because then I can just, you know, wake up, get blood work done, and then just eat or fall asleep. And I sadly can't do both at the same time, unfortunately. And now to the hopeful wishes fudge. So sorry. Like, I just can't stop thinking of food right now. Like, the whole fucking dramatic reading in this chapter, I was thinking of food the entire goddamn time. Oh, God. Now I want Cheetos. But I can't have Cheetos because I'm fasting. Damn it. Okay. Now is the hopeful wishes segment. Hopeful Wishes is a segment where I say some hopeful wishes, and then I drink. Tonight I am drinking water. You can join in the segment in two wonderful ways. The first way is you can comment below with a hopeful wish, and it will be read next episode of Jash Reads. And you can also join in by drinking along with me. Choose your favorite alcohol, liquor, or whatever the fuck's lying around. And if you don't drink for whatever reason, you can also drink water, milk, tea, orange juice, apple juice, milk, etc. And no one sent in any hopeful wishes for this episode, so I will make up some of my own. First off is I hope everyone is doing well both mentally and physically so they don't have to mess with any medical bullshit. I hope that my blood tests don't reveal anything serious. And I also hope that Rev Resner recovers quickly from his back surgery. And tomorrow he should be getting the staples out of his back. So that's a double hopeful wish. First is that I hope everything works out well. Two, I hope my hand survives the ordeal and that I have enough money for a new replacement hand. If you're wondering about that comment, whenever he's getting a shot or he's getting something done to him that causes him pain, I hold his hand. And the trick is to deal with a bunch of the pain is just have your hand loosen. It can still hurt, but I don't think it will be as bad. And then, of course, remember, don't scream out because that just makes things awkward for everyone. And I will start to drink in 3, 2, 1. Chocolate milk. Oh. Okay, that's done. Now, next video will be my review of Insurgent by Veronica Roth. Yes, finally got that all taken care of. Just have to do the title card tomorrow, and it will be ready for takeoff on Wednesday. So, tune in on this channel on Wednesday so you can get that lovely review. And also on Wednesday will be another episode of Writing Session, aka the live streaming I have that no one watches. And again, the Insurgent by Veronica Roth review and Writing Session will be going on Wednesday. And until next video, goodbye.